Hey guys, this is Dennis, the founder of Think Hero.
And I'm David Griffin, your resident comic book and video game guru.
And this is our review of The Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 13.
Alone.
So, I thought this episode is okay. I thought it was better than last week's episode.
Yes, definitely.
We had talked about, it's better if they move along the plot and also weave in all the different characters, and this episode did it. Not heavy on the plot.
No.
They're still, I'm not saying they're still not stretching it out. It just wasn't as stretched out as last week's episode.
Yeah, last week's was bad. This was better. I got to see a lot more people. Second week in a row now, not seeing any Rick and Carl or Michonne, so it's the second time they've done that.
Or Tyrese.
Yeah, I know. I thought this episode we would have gotten some Tyrese, but we didn't. It's basically the whole point of this episode was to get everybody. I thought that was last week, but this week again to get everybody moving towards the town.
Yes.
Moving towards
Terminus.
Which
is Sanctuary.
And we get to see. I know some of you have pointed this out to me before. We get to see Dale runs into this group called the Hunters. I think that's what they're trying to be from the comic books. I know you haven't gotten quite that far in the books, but that's who those guys are. So it's just getting everybody moving towards the town.
What I hope doesn't happen, and I'm kind of afraid that it's going to.
It's going to end at the town.
No. That's not what I'm afraid of. What I'm afraid of is they all get there relatively around the same time. Because I gotta call bullshit on that.
Right.
Come on, really?
Right.
You guys got all spread apart.
Right.
With all different circumstances, with different people, and somehow you get to the same place around the same time.
Right.
I know they're not gonna come in there exactly, but within a day or two or a few days, I don't buy it. It'd be weeks or months between finding a place like that.
There's hopefully maybe somebody will be there ahead of time, and then they'll be the voice, be like, oh, this is gonna work. We can make it work here, as they always do in The Walking Dead. And of course, that always goes to crap. But and again, Terminus is something I'm not sure where they're going with the storyline. So I'm not trying to spoil anything from the comics. I don't know, but there was a scene that I thought they could have done better in the series, and it's just because I recently, within the last year, read Cormac McCarthy's The Road. And I guess if you don't want to be spoiled by this, I'm going to mention one scene from that book. There's a scene where the movie had Viggo Mortensen in it, and the book is the same thing, where he and his son had this one moment where they come across, like Daryl and Beth, they come across this bunker with all this food and just good stuff, and they have one really good night together in this post-apocalyptic world, and it's special. The next day they have to move on from that. I wish Daryl and Beth would have spent more. Now I don't want a whole episode dedicated to Daryl and Beth. I'm not asking for that, but I wish they would have had more time in that house. I felt like it was too rushed, and just seeing all those zombies come in at the last minute, I'm like, oh, more zombies. It's it'd be cool to have a little bit of respite from the zombies, and every scene has to be about zombies almost killing everybody. I wish that, because the comic takes breaks from that. Because you read it, the comic takes breaks from them being attacked by zombies, and I wish we would have gotten a break from that instead of her getting carried off to who knows where. But
yeah, I wasn't a big fan of all the piggybacking and carrying like a wife.
Right, the hand holding. Because you guys corrected me, she is 28 years old, even though she looks like she's 18. But
yeah, the question is more of what the character is supposed to be on the show.
Right.
I know a lot of people have mentioned oh, she's 28. Well,
but she's not 28 on the show. Let's correct her. She's not 28 on the show. It's
no way.
Different.
No way.
She's not supposed to be 28 years old. Yeah. Then Daryl on the show would probably be 30, 32. Show age, she would be that old. So yeah,
it's a Modern Family type of situation.
Right, because one of the daughters from the older daughter from Modern Family is
20-something,
but she's just first year in college or something.
19 or 20,
right? Yeah.
So,
this was a better episode than last week for sure. But again, the series for me, it's still meandering. It's still dragging out. And yes, they do great action sequences. They do cool scenes. The scene in the fog. With Maggie, Bob,
and Sasha.
And Sasha. That was a good scene. Always good act, but it's again, what does it do for the story? What does it do for character development? I know fans of the show argue that is character development. I'm I don't know. Watch a show like True Detective. I don't really see character development in a scene in the fog where somebody. I just don't see it.
There was a little character development with Bob just showing his past.
I like that intro. I did like the intro. I like the intro.
How he was, because we assumed that he had come with whatchamacallit,
right.
that one, I forgot the name of it, that camp from last
season. Yeah, right, yeah.
That's what I assumed, but now we found that they actually had found him, he had been alone by himself. And
I did like the opening. That was kind of a nice scene, yeah.
So there was a little, and then, there's a relationship between him and Sasha that I enjoyed. I liked seeing their relationship. What was Maggie doing lying on the ground in that one town? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it, and it's just that whole sequence is weird. All of a sudden the window's gone.
Yes.
It crashes.
She wakes up.
She pops up huh? And then like all these walkers.
It made no sense at all.
That scene just it didn't feel right. I don't know.
Why was she lying on the ground there? Wouldn't she try and go in that building?
Yeah, get to high ground. Get to high ground.
And also set up a perimeter.
Not just lay down in the middle of the street like maybe nobody will know I'm not dead. You know. That was a weird scene. I didn't get that. I don't know, sometimes the show, I want to know what worries about the show is I don't think the show has a clear direction. They have the comics to go off of, but this isn't like a Game of Thrones. This isn't Lord of the Rings. This isn't Harry Potter. They're not following to an end point. Robert Kirkman has said that he'll write this as long as he can write it, which bothers me. I don't like that. I think some of the best comic book series end early. Brian K. Vaughan.
He's going to write it as long as
he gets money. And then AMC has said, we hope the show can go on as long as it can. I don't like hearing that. Again, it's all about the green. As long as we can get that green, I want to know they have an end game. You said Lost got really good after season 3 because they knew what they wanted to do.
Towards the end of season 3, they had to take a hiatus.
Right.
In the beginning, because season 3 was kind of like this season where like they just had these episodes that really didn't do anything.
Right.
They didn't know when the show was ending, and then finally they took a break, and then they had a discussion with ABC and said, how long are we gonna have this show? That way we can plot out everything. And once they did, then they came back, and the second half of season 3 was really good. And season 6 had its problems, but I felt like the second half of season 3 and 4 and 5 they actually had movement on everything. And The Walking Dead right now is kind of just treading water.
And that's what I'm curious if it's just going to be a show every week where they just see who can survive this experience, and that show to me becomes a little old. I just don't.
Sounds like a video game.
It's like a video game. It's like, can we survive this level to get to the boss fight? I'm like, I don't want to watch that on television. I want a little more story, and I think that's what's been bothering me about it. Like I said, I love the cast. I like the way it's shot. I like the look of it. It looks kind of old school with the film and the grain. I like the way it looks, but I just don't want. I need more of a story, and I just don't think I'm getting that right now. But that's just my opinion. If you like the show, please keep liking it.
I'm wondering with the funeral home whether or not we're going to find out who was living there.
Yeah, right.
Who took Beth. I'm assuming whoever was living in the funeral home had something to do with taking Beth. Maybe for safety reasons.
Right.
Maybe he felt like. But then at the same time, she did drop her stuff. So if it was for safety reasons, I don't know.
She would probably
I did like Daryl's when he saw the pig's feet in the diet soda. He's like, what do you say? White trash brunch.
That's a white trash brunch. Yeah, that made me laugh. Yeah, Daryl's a man. Daryl's great.
So this episode, I thought it was all right.
Better than last week.
Better than last week. It's an improvement,
It's an improvement for sure.
So hopefully we'll see more. There's only 3 episodes left.
And then Game of Thrones.
All right, guys. You can let us know what you thought of this episode. You can post your comments below on the website thinkhero.com or on our YouTube channel Think Hero Pro.
Also, come check us out on Twitter. Tell us what we thought about this week's episode. Did you like last week's better or this week's? Where do you think is going to happen when everybody gets to the town? You can find us at Think Hero. I'm at Griffin DE.
And we also have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/ThinkHeroFans. And make sure you like that page and share our videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Think Hero Pro. All right, thanks.